Yes.
Getting new kittens.
Yes, she's got some new kittens
Menstruating,
that were
sneezing.
rescued and needed homes, and she has them at her house now. So she's worried a little bit about them, so.
I like
You
how
know.
Linnea's giving my vinegar.
Oh.
Okay, your turn.
Viagra. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm not doing much at all. I'm having a documentary come out in October. Okay, it's called High Heels, The Rise and Fall of the B-Movie Queens. I think that's how you say it. It's a really hard title to say, but in October it'll be out in theaters, in some theaters, and on TV. And then I've got a movie I did with David Dakota, he was mentioning, which is really fun with Michelle Brink and I, called 1313 Cougar Cult. And there's a great documentary also out in October called More Brains, which is all this lost footage and new interviews with everybody from Return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
And Joe Hollow and Tiffany, you're in it too, on Disciples, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Another one.
Right around the corner, we're going to be doing that.
I
And
forget about this stuff. with
that's
all
going to
these
be fun.
amazing
Joe
movies.
Paulo is an excellent director. I'm doing a rock video at the end of this month, and it's with Victor Bonacore, who is brilliant. And it's called, the band's name is Sexcrement. They're from Boston, about to be signed. And the band's song I'm going to be doing is Trucker Bomb. And for those who don't know what a trucker bomb is, truckers do meth. And
No.
Not all of them, disclaimer.
the guys hang out that are on meth at truck stops and get these bottles and swig away to get high. So that'll be an interesting video, rock video to do. I added some suggestions, we'll see what happens. And I'm so exhausted. That's all I have to say right now, I think.
Nice. All right, back to Mario. Jason Paul
I
Collins.
had one, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Jason Paul Collins.
All right,
Okay.
we have a question from Mario down in front.
Mario, we asked Mario first.
Any other questions besides
Mario's
Mario's
thinking.
basic question?
Did you lose it? Mike Watts.
My question is for Tiffany.
Oh God, shut up, then Mario.
Yeah, no, I don't answer questions from your husband.
I thought you were really good in the Frankenstein syndrome, and I was wondering how you attested that.
Frankenstein syndrome is a phenomenal.
Yes, and you were good in it. That was
It's
the
so
surprising
strange,
part.
So rare.
Right.
It's so rare for me to actually be good. Just kind of like it's rare.
You
to
were
find
you
a
were
good
clothed.
white
I could
film.
understand what you were
Oh,
saying.
rare gem.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Mama
Oh,
can't get
sorry.
mad.
The Frankenstein syndrome, if you guys haven't seen it, it is pretty dope. And it's very different than a lot of like crazy normal bad movies. It's actually kind of interesting and thought provoking. And I play a molecular biologist, and no, I can't spell it. And it has Ed Lauder. Who doesn't love Ed Lauder from all
Oh
the
my God.
crazy 80s, right?
Yeah.
I love Ed Lauder. And Louis Mandylor from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is the not as famous Mandylor as Costas, whatever that guy's name is. From Saw. But it's showing tomorrow. So if you guys have not seen it, go see it. If
Showing
not,
here?
it's showing here tomorrow. But
Okay.
you know what? Forget that. You can just buy it at my table and take it home with you, which is
Or
better.
you could
Take it home
Or
with
do both.
you.
Yeah.
Do both.
Have her sign it and take it home.
Take it home.
So, Linnea, you did mention that you were in the documentary about Scream Queens
Yes.
that Jason Paul Collins is doing.
Jason Paul Collins,
Uh,
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time you said, I remember you saying that you were ever referred to as a Scream Queen was in Entertainment Weekly. So this is actually going to be a question for all of you.
Uh-huh.
Do you recall the first time the phrase was used in association with you? And I know that not all women in horror like the term Scream Queen, so I'm curious from each of your perspective if this is a title you like, when it was first associated with you, and what you think of that legacy. And I'll let you go
Okay,
first.
I love the term because I loved horror films, and I thought it was a great term. It's like, it was just like started, and all of a sudden, like People Magazine, Premiere, all these magazines were hitting me up, we were doing photo shoots, and it was being publicized. And there were all these girls at that point that were like, oh, I don't do those kind of movies. I don't do that. I'm in real movies. And all this kind of junk. And now you get all the girls that say, oh, I'm a scream queen. And we're like, what'd you do? I posed in my backyard with some blood on me. And so it's like become popular now to be a scream queen. And also it was like a no-no to be topless. But now it's okay. You know, we had to break a lot of barriers of things that were no-nos in Hollywood, but we got to where we got, and we got names for it, and we got a good name, Scream Queens.
Wow. The first time I was referred to as it was actually an article that Jules Shepard wrote about me in Time Out New York. And I mean, I think the few of you that I know in here, I was just a hardcore horror fan, you know, and I had no interest in really being an actor. I never really even thought about acting. It was a fluke, you know. I cut school, went to an audition, got a part in Romeo and Juliet, which was like awesome cult hit, and then got embraced by fans because of it. And I was super thrilled. You kidding? It was like to be associated with the likes of Linnea and Brink and Michelle Bauer and people like that back then, and Debbie Rochon, you know. I was absolutely floored and thrilled. As of lately, and I think you guys, and if you go to enough conventions, you can attest to it, you know, there's every other bitch on the planet with a table set up, and like you just said, pictures in her backyard, and one movie she did in her basement, you know, and you're like, wow, where can I find this? Well, right here, you know.
My home video.
Oh yeah, in my house. And so the term, you know, is really just kind of thrown around
It
a
is.
little too loosely, you know, whereas, you know, I thought it was a pretty big honor to be labeled something like that, and now it's like, really? You know, like, you know, there's a few conventions coming up, and they're like, will you be on the Scream Queen panel? And we really want it, you know, to center on you, and we're going to be with who? And I was like, who are these girls? Like, and I'd never heard of them in my life. Like, I mean, never. Not like, oh, I might have heard of that person, or I might have seen that movie. I mean, these are names that it's kind of ridiculous at this point, you know.
Yeah, it's just
generic now.
now it is.
Yeah, instead of saying like woman horror actress or anything
Or just,
stupid.
I'm trying to be an actress.
Trying to be an actress, everybody's a scream queen. I remember going to a convention years ago where somebody had a poster printed up where she called herself Scream Queen, blah, 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 and she had not even done a movie. She was trying to get into movies, and I'm like, well, then why do you have a title? I mean, Scream Queen was, to me anyway, any, you know, I know there's a lot of contention over, you know, whether or not it was Linnea or Fay Wray or Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyone you go with, I don't care which definition you take. It was titled a Scream Queen. It was somebody that was up here. It wasn't, you know, I'm gonna go shoot a movie in the lobby and I want these Scream Queens to be in it. You know, it's generic.
Speaking of, I need a few Scream Queens in my lobby video. In a few minutes. Are you free?
Oh God, yeah.
Because Jessica